Hello everyone, I'm Rachel and you're listening to Let's Talk Avatar. This is a watch through of The Legend of Korra. Isaac and I will be discussing each episode and giving our opinions on it. Just as a reminder, this podcast does contain spoilers for The Legend of Korra. This is a teen-rated podcast, so listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Let's Talk Avatar podcast. My name is Isaac, and with me today is
Rachel.
And today we are talking about we're talking about one spicy episode titled The Stakeout. And I believe
it's episode 9.
Is it?
Yeah,
episode 9.
It's episode 9.
Dang,
okay. Dang. Me and Isaac switched mics today, so I'm not used to this. It's kind of weird. Anyway,
Same.
First and foremost, I'd like to say I felt like we were in a stage of like boredom with this season, and now it's picking back up. It took everything in Isaac and I not to continue watching until the end of season 3, but we didn't. We resisted. We did watch one episode forward. But
yeah, it's kind of a half lie there. Like, we didn't, but we did. But
we didn't finish the season for you guys. Like, we could have, but we resisted.
Yeah, so
you're welcome.
Leave heart emojis in the chat for our self-control. We're really picking it up.
Encourage us, please. We need it because we about ready to go rewatch it after this right now.
On the ground. Okay.
We also just watched Blackpink Rosie Solo just released 9 p.m. Yeah, we watched it. So,
anyways,
Rosie's on the brain.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest. The beginning. Okay, first of all, I should say, even with the beginning, it being kind of boring to me, I love the setting they were in. So it was still kind of intriguing. I just like the desert in Avatar, and it's like that oasis area with like there's still some green in it. Rachel's like shaking her head.
It's because we don't see the desert a lot. You know, it's that one area that we don't visit a lot. So when I see it, it's like a nice change of pace, you know? I'm having flashbacks to our last episode.
I do wish Tarlok's assistant was there. It would have made this episode a lot more bearable.
Tarlok's assistant made the entire season 1 bearable, so we need them in season 3.
Pretty sure it's a guy, but
yeah, I didn't say it wasn't. Okay, we need to stop. I felt so bad, you guys, about releasing not last week, because we didn't record last week, the week before, because it was just us laughing. Like, I'm sorry. I hope you guys liked it, but if you didn't, like, I understand.
We get it.
We get it, because we don't like ourselves, so if you don't like us, we totally understand. We feel it. We understand. We're on the same page, same level, you know.
It's like calling someone with an eating disorder or like that is bigger or skinnier exactly what they are. It's like they already know. We already know. Like, you don't have to say anything.
I'm fat? Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I never noticed. I like to eat food. Oh my gosh.
God. I indulge in food. At least I'm eating better than you are. Oh,
dang, burn. You got him.
You got burned. Anyways,
Isaac and I have been in
this episode.
We've been in an indie girl phase, so the rest of this episode will be we were talking in indie girl voice like this for the rest of the episode. Okay, stop. We gotta stop. Okay, in this episode, it's the stakeout, so they're looking for Zahir, like the Red Lotus. Well,
they're looking for the steak.
Following Highway to get to Zahir. And so when you start the episode, you're thinking like the stakeout, oh, here we go again, another boring episode, which in the beginning, like Isaac was saying, not a lot going on. I do want to mention something. When they're doing the stakeout, they find out where Highway is. They get the hotel room across from him, and they're watching him all day. It includes Mako, Bolin, Asami, and Korra, and Pabu, and they somehow got Naga in there.
They got Naga's fat ass in there.
Don't know how. I'm not gonna ask. The entire time they have the window open, wide open, just staring at Aiwei. And Aiwei looks out the window every so often. You're telling me he can't see them with their window wide open. And they're having conversations looking at each other, not looking at the window. So it's like they don't know if people are watching them because they're not even looking out the window. That was my only gripe with it. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
You're the Avatar and the gang. Like, get it together.
But also when they walked into the building to get the apartment, the girl was like, last time a group of people with the Avatar came in here, they thrashed the place. And I think that was a callback to The Last Airbender, which I thought was really cool. There's a lot of Easter eggs in this one.
Yeah, because when Korra's like, does her Sokka thing, where she's like, I'm watching you, and then backs out. Pretty cool.
But anyways, they get to Aiwei. He turns out he's in the spirit world, so Korra goes in there with him.
Okay, so
it's such a easy setup. If they didn't know this, come on.
It's a setup, but it's not. But the spirits like I was trying to tell you before, is I'm like, they're telling her something, and they're like, get out of here. We're trying to figure out where Aiwei is.
Has the map open.
Sami's like, get away from me. I'm like, wow, they're cute spirits. Like, back off.
Yeah. Also, she has a map open, and they're like, we need to figure out what to do, or where to go. And then the spirit literally is like quacking. I don't know what it was doing at her on the map, basically telling her, don't do this. You're literally right there. If you needed any confirmation, why would the spirit just go right down on the map?
Yeah. I think it's crazy. We talked about this when we were watching it, is when Korra gets into the spirit world and watches Aiwei and Zahir talking. First of all, Zahir instantly drops Aiwei into the fog.
Inside of the spirit world.
He's so literally OP when it comes to being in tune with spiritual stuff and airbending philosophy.
Did he learn teleportation from Guru Lahim too?
Okay, Guru Lahim is his OP. God. Yeah. He quotes him every episode. But this episode he has Korra and he's baiting her, and of course Korra has no patience, so she's like, I'm gonna go and find Aiwei myself, and it's like, girl, just stop. But anyway, she listens to them talk. She ends up talking to Zahir.
Not Aiwei.
It's Aiwei. Remember? Because she's like, I can't wait here anymore because he hasn't looked out the window or whatever.
Oh, I thought we were talking about when they were in the spirit world
now. I was, and then I was talking about that leading up to the spirit. Okay. Sorry, kind of jumped around a little bit. But then they're in the spirit world, and she's talking to Zahir. And Zahir, while talking to Korra, is in the real world talking to the Red Lotus saying, Avatar Korra, Misty Palm, or is it
Misty Palm Springs?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
And I'm like, how? How does he know how to talk while he's astral project? What's not? Is it? No, that's not astral projection. That's projection because you're in the spirit realm. And anyway, he's meditating in the spirit world while talking in the real world. It's just crazy. It's crazy, and I mean, they're smart, and that's the thing that Korra, I guess. I can't be too upset at her because she's still young. She still has a lot to learn. She's a teenager, but it bothers me because I'm like, come on, have some patience. Learn that your opponent may be smarter than you, may have planned these things out,
How is it that Asami can, build all of these inventions and, always knows what to do when it comes to, mechanics, but when it comes to, a plan, all of a sudden she's like, I don't know what I'm talking about. that is the one thing they're bad at. That's the only thing they're bad at is, not having a plan.
Yeah.
Because it gets them in trouble all the time, which it did here.
Yeah. Well, it got them in trouble, but not in the way that they thought they were going to be in trouble. Yeah,
they literally... Okay, so what happened? While Korra was in the spirit world, Minghua and Gazan go after Zuko, the rest of them, to try and get Korra.
Zuko?
Not Zuko.
Wait, when did Zuko?
Mako and Zuko mixed up.
No, you don't. I guess Mako, Zuko, they end in the ko.
They do.
And they're both firebenders, so
yeah.
I'll let you off there.
Thanks. So they're fighting, and Bolin and Mako get fucking demolished, like everyone knew was gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gazan ends up capturing, or no.
No, Minghua captures Bolin and Mako, and then Gazan, you see him going after, but the Earth Queen's, police officers, not the Daily, but other people, capture Korra and Asami.
Yeah.
Not the sharpest tools in the shed.
But they did this. They had to do it this way because they had no other choice because of what Korra did. She was too early. She reacted out of anger. Again,
she's not a methodical person. You know, she can't ever just sit still and like think something through. She's like, oh, it's so much easier, and I understand that. But as the Avatar, and you're fighting against such tough opponents, like, you need to be methodical. You need to take those moments to think out your plan rather than just like, I'm gonna go in and not have any kind of strategy, you know?
Yeah.
But that's what she does best, and somehow it always ends up, you know, we talked about this. They have Avatar does a great job in making you feel suspense for the bad guy. Like, you're like, how are they going to defeat them? Oh my gosh.
We both know how this season ends, but I still feel like, how are they going to do this? Mm-hmm. Even though I know exactly what goes on.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, they're that good at making suspenseful plots and stuff like that. But we'll get into it at the end of the season. But anyways, I thought this episode was pretty good. I'm not going to say the first half was that good, but it was still intriguing.
Yeah, I agree.
It's better. I thought it was better than the last two we watched, the previous two.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's definitely better than the previous two. I mean, we went off on a tangent, laughing hysterically because the other two were just too boring for us.
Who's your favorite
I was literally going to ask you this. You know, it's really hard for me to choose because I don't know. I don't know who it is. Like, I don't hate anyone right now. I really don't. Even Zahir has a really good way of making you side with him. When he's talking to Korra about his beliefs, it's obviously anarchy. Like, it doesn't function. It doesn't work. But you understand, like, the way he feels that way. And you're like, well, you know, he's not completely wrong. You can't...
It can work, but not the way he's going about it.
But it's just still, like, Zahir is such a good bad guy, you know?
Yeah, he's too good. He's like what his wishes she can be.
He's not complete evil, you know? He's not like... I mean, he does evil things, but for him, it's for the good of people. So it's hard because it's like, I don't completely hate him.
Lore bomb... While they're in the fucking spirit world, Zahir's like, yeah, I was actually in cahoots with your uncle Unalaq.
Yeah.
To try and free Vaatu. Mm-hmm. But Unalaq had other plans for Vaatu, and I'm like, okay, but if you guys release Vaatu, like, what was that gonna do for you guys? Like, you wouldn't have no control.
I feel like all bad guys, just the way that they're written, have a plan to a certain extent, and then it's like cut off, and it's like, well, whatever happens, happens.
Because they get too ambitious. But this is where I think Zahir got lucky, is because Unalaq and Vaatu were taken down.
Yeah.
And so now Zahir's plan is actually working, even though Vaatu is no more, or just trapped somewhere. Mm-hmm. Which is scary because, like, what if Vaatu was released? What was his plan with Vaatu? Like, what were you gonna...
Can you imagine Zahir and Vaatu?
As, like, the Dark Avatar? Okay, the world would be...
Korra could never defeat him.
Destroyed.
Honestly, he would win. Even with her cosmic self, I still think Zahir would win, because Zahir is way more spiritual.
I've been watching a lot of, like, Avatar-specific YouTubers, and this guy brought up a good point, kind of an unpopular opinion, but... Jinora's spiritual side makes no sense.
I've told you that before.
It just spawns out of season 2 out of nowhere, and you're like, okay, yep, I agree. Like,
yeah,
cool.
They just kind of force it on you. They're like, okay, we don't really know this much about Jinora, but here you go. And she's so spiritual. She's like 9 years old or 10, however, but she's so spiritually inclined. She's way advanced than her father.
12 or 13 episodes, she's
Get
like...
a little too animated over here.
Within 12 or 13 episodes, she's like instantly like a god at spiritual stuff. Like, I don't understand.
And it continues on for the rest of the show.
It's not that I don't like it. I just am. The only reason I ever have a gripe with anything that happened in the show is if it wasn't foreshadowed enough or believable.
Yeah.
Because everything else is very believable. Mm-hmm. But there's specific things like that I'm like, okay, Like, this was just written for the sake of the plot. Because you guys didn't have an answer for defeating Unavatu.
Yeah. Well, and when you're at a young age and you're watching these shows, you have that innocence to you that you're not overthinking everything. Everything makes sense to you. When they introduce something, you're like, oh, yeah, okay, and you go with it. But when you watch it through the lens of, obviously, you're an adult, you're going to analyze those things. And it's hard not to. Like, even if you try not to overanalyze, it is so hard. But I think we have to remember, like, these are kids shows. I mean, Korra was written for more, like, aged or geared toward teenagers, but still, like, at the end of the day, it's not made for people our age to overanalyze, you know?
I get that, but, like, I don't know.
I mean, I feel like the writing could still be a whole lot better in a lot of
I just feel like
areas.
that's a cop-out, though, because Avatar: The Last Airbender, Legend of Korra, Avatar universe, all of it, they have always been super detailed with literally everything, except for the plot. So it's like, you can't really use that as an excuse because literally everything else is to the level of, like, if it were made for teenagers, young adults, stuff like that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still, like I was saying
It's
at the
still
end of
geared
it.
towards...
Yeah, but not only that, it's just bad writing. You
Yeah.
know, like the writing didn't, not to say that the writers are bad writers, it just didn't make sense. And when you have multiple writers working on a show, I mean, there's going to be situations like that. I think that's the thing about it that kind of sucks, because it's like, as fans, you know what you want to see, and you want the way you want the story to go. So when it doesn't go that way, or when something doesn't click, it's obviously obnoxious, you know, because you're like, wait, that didn't make sense.
Well, and there's so much lore and so much to one character. It's like, oh, does this character still have this? Does this character, like, I can't imagine having to write something heavily, like, the plot at moments, it's like heavily relies on characters, as does every plot, but it's like, imagine, like, just getting that wrong. It's so easy to get those little things wrong.
Nothing bothers me more, though, in shows, all shows that I watch.
Consistent.
When it's not consistent. Like, you'll be watching a show, and in the first season, this character, they'll talk about how this character had a sister, and then 3 seasons down the road, they have 2 brothers, no sister. And it's stuff like that.
That's a little weird.
It bothers me so much, because it's like, it's not that hard. If you're the creator of this show, those are things I feel like are important, especially when you have a character-driven show. Those are details you need to remember, even if you write them down somewhere and you have, like, a reference page for someone to go and be like, hey, this is what we know about this character, you know? Like, it's not that hard to remember those things. And if you can't, I mean, like, it's hard to remember it, that, of course, for a lot of characters, but write something down. Have some kind of rule book to go off of, I guess, or something to be like, hey, this is what goes with this character, this is what makes sense. Sometimes I feel like they're like, you know what, just have a free-for-all.
Yeah, they're like,
enjoy.
Go into this and write whatever you want. Like,
they're like, make your dreams come true. Don't make the fans' dreams come true. Make yours.
Okay. Not to get, like, to get away from the kind of the negative that we thought about it. I loved the last.
I love the Unagi.
I love the last, like, 5 minutes. It really built up that suspense in such a streamlined way.
So much that we had to watch the next episode.
Yeah, and it's why me and Rachel kept watching, because they just leave you wanting more.
Yeah, they do a really good job. It's like they've got the momentum going right now, and so it's like, oh, I just want to keep watching. I want to keep watching, because they've built it up and it's getting serious, and you're like, oh, I can't wait. That's one thing a lot of shows know how to do, but I love when Avatar does it, because you're like, oh, I have to keep watching. They leave you with that cliffhanger, or like a little bit, that little piece of information that you're like, I have to know what's coming next.
Yeah.
Even if it's something lame, when you watch it, you're like, seriously, this is it? You still have to watch it.
My favorite character is Asami.
Okay, it's hard. Season 3 for me, it is hard not to pick. I wanted to say Asami, but I feel like I've said Asami so much. And I used to hate on Asami. I used to hate her.
Same.
And be like, wow, people love Asami? Wow, I don't get it. And now I'm watching this and I'm like, she's a badass. We talked about it. She is a badass for not being a bender and having the capabilities and being a woman doing stuff that is very, like, male populated, I guess.
Male dominated.
Yeah, it's just very populated. Yeah, male dominated. It's just cool. It's cool to see it, and it's cool to have a strong female character that's not a bender show off her skills, you know?
But as soon as I'm like, she is so cool, it just makes me wish they did more with her. Because I'm like, she has the most potential, even more than Korra in the show, honestly.
Yeah, I would like to see more from her.
Sometimes the characters that have nothing, which I'm not saying she doesn't have anything because she has a lot to her, but like she can't bend like them, are the ones with the most potential because they're like, she can go anywhere. You know, I kind of wish they did continue with the like villain trope with her in season 1.
Yeah, it would be kind of interesting. I would love to see like an alternate universe where Asami went evil, like
but,
on her
she's
dad's
not
side.
Stopped right away. She's like in the
yeah,
background.
like it continues on, kind of like Kuvira.
Maybe she helps Kuvira in season 4.
Like, oh, that would be, yeah, I would be really interested in that. You know what I don't hate, and I kind of cringe for feeling like this? I don't hate the moments we've had with Mako and Bolin together.
I don't either.
I actually really liked it.
It makes me like their characters more.
Oh, yeah. Even Mako. Because Mako's like, we all know, he's probably the most hated character in all of Korra. Which, with season 1 and 2, understandable. But they kind of redeem him in season 3 in a way. You know, like you kind of start...
He shouldn't have had to be redeemed.
No, he shouldn't have. But I mean, he had to be because the way they wrote him and the love triangle was one of the worst love triangles I've ever seen in my life. But I mean...
Which never really got resolved, I might add, anyways.
Yeah, they just don't talk about it. But...
Yep. That's
Mako,
definitely how you get rid of that.
That's my philosophy. Just ignore it. Keep going.
Definitely not causing any trauma for the future.
I have really enjoyed watching Mako and Bolin. Like, the first beginning of this episode is them fighting, looking for Aiwei. And I'm like, man, I really love these two together. Like, they do a good job with the brother aspect of it. Because you get Bolin, who's like the funny-go-lucky kind of character, and you get Bolin, who's obviously more serious and cynical.
I'm glad you mentioned that part, because I forgot about it, but it is like the main reason why I wanted to keep watching in the first half is because of their little like moment together was really cool to watch. Yeah,
they're just... I like them together. And they always, reference back to their lives previously before they met Korra and Shady Shin and all that stuff. And it's just cool. It's kind of cool because you're like, wow, they've been through a lot together and they're still continuing on. And it is cool that even though there was that drama with Asami and Mako and Korra, that they're able to like push forward past that for the greater good of the Avatar universe. You know what I mean? Yeah. Instead of like being little kids about it, being like, oh, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like they're still so close knit. I mean, in the beginning of season 3, it was definitely like that, but
definitely,
we've moved on past that, which I'm glad. And it's hard with Bolin. Bolin just like puts people in those places where you're like, okay, you have to address it, kind of thing, because Bolin's out there. He doesn't care. People who hate on Bolin. I love Bolin.
Rachel's coming after you, apparently.
I love Bolin.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah, if you don't like Bolin...
He doesn't have to be your favorite character. But, like, how can you not like him?
Yeah, we get, like, a hate page for Bolin. It's like, are you kidding me? How can you like him?
Your opinion is the worst opinion I've ever heard in my entire life. Bolin is complete trash.
Any Bolin haters, come for us. My is, I'm just kidding.
Oh my, how many times have we told people to come for us? First of all, we don't have enough listeners.
Okay,
we don't have enough listeners to come for us.
I want some drama.
No.
I'd be lying if I
want
to
avoid all the drama.
I want the tea.
I like to watch other people's drama. I just don't want it. Like, I'll watch it from afar and be like, dang, this is getting heated. But, like, I don't want to be part of it.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah? You just said you want drama.
But I'm thinking about it and like, yeah, that's true.
I don't want to have to bag you up. I'm just
That
kidding.
Is so dark.
How is that dark? I would. I would. That's the thing I hate
is you
bag
me up like my dead body. I was like, what?
No.
Never really heard that saying before.
Bag me up.
Bag me up, sis.
Right before you go into a fight.
I ain't winning this fight.
Back. Like back pain.
Okay.
You know back pain real well.
Speaking
I do.
of back pain, if your posture is really
Posture
bad right now,
check.
straighten your back. This whole time you've been recording,
I have been slumping real hard.
Quasimodo type B.
Definitely. Like I'd back you up for sure. It's hard when people come after you because no one comes after you actually. But if someone did, it would be really hard for me not to fight them.
Bag me up.
And I'm not a fighter. I don't like confrontation. But you're my little bro. I have to.
Anyways.
Baby bro.
That has been this episode.
Oh, we're ending it?
Yeah.
We're ending it. Okay, fine. End it.
Okay.
My name's Rachel.
My name's Isaac, and we will see you next week with another episode of Let's Talk Avatar.
감사합니다.
감사합니다. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. You can find us on our website at nonessentialmedia.com, on Twitter at Let's Avatar, and on Instagram at Let's Talk Avatar. Join us next week for another episode. And as always, thank you so much for all your support.